On this Veterans Day, we want to introduce you to a member of the greatest generation, a man who served his country in World War II and some 60 years later is still serving.
This time helping comfort and care for those nearing the end of life. His mission, compassion.
Let's see, the war ended the 6th.
Lester Berger has seen a lot in his 87 years. Nothing, though, compares to what he lived through as a young man. He nearly didn't. It was World War II, the Battle of the Bulge.
They needed replacements badly. I was one of them.
Berger was part of a tank destroyer outfit.
I slid down this bank and a 120 mortar hit right behind me and took a chip off of my left shoulder.
His crew pulled him up by the jacket and, he says, saved his life.
I'll remember that to my dying breath, what they did for me. They were good.
Berger eventually came home, got married, and returned to civilian life. But he wasn't done serving. Years later, it would just come in a different form. And it began at the end of his wife's life.
She's a great lady. She died in my arms on Christmas Day will be 18 years ago.
It was during that time Lester Berger was introduced to hospice care, helping him take care of his bride at home until he couldn't do it anymore. And it also spurred in him the desire to serve again, this time as a hospice volunteer.
Oh, for gosh sakes. When they do good, you sleep.
Today, Lester visits hospice patients in their own home,
So that they know they're not alone.
often fellow veterans.
Boy, we sit there and we fight that war over again. If they're able to talk, and we visit and just talk about our lives and what we did for a living and whatever comes up.
He's part of the We Honor Veterans campaign, a collaboration between the Veterans Administration and the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization.
Where we're really trying to target veterans and their end-of-life care needs, which we had not done before. 25% of everybody dying in America today is a veteran, and 1,800 veterans die every day.
I get back a lot more than I give, really. I come out and I feel just like old Tiger when he's had a 40-foot putt. It just felt like he had a great time. That's what the Lord left me here for.
What a guy. The Center for Hospice Care has 400 volunteers and is always looking for more. If you're interested, we have a link to our website, WSBT.com, and click News Links. WSBT News at 6 starts right now. It's tempting to give gift cards. In fact, a just-released Consumer Reports poll finds it'll be one of the most popular gifts this year. But the poll also finds a quarter of us still have unused cards left over from last year. I found this in my desk drawer just this afternoon. Here's what you need to know now if you plan to give one. We have team coverage from both sides of the state line and some of the areas that were hit the worst.
Good evening, I'm Cindy Ward.
And I'm Dustin Grove. It packed a strong punch at one point this morning. Straight line winds were gusting at 81 miles an hour in Mishawaka. But we begin with one of the hardest hit neighborhoods just north of there. Major damage, and for one family, a very close call. Had they been sleeping, it could have been even worse.
Storm started coming through, and all of a sudden, boom!
Monday morning on Branchwood Lane in Granger.
I think it happened within 3 minutes.
Just here and gone.
It was here and gone.
Gone in minutes.
This is the worst I've ever seen this street.
But certainly not forgotten. And with damage like this,
It looks like Armageddon out here.
how could they?
Is that in your bedroom?
That's sitting right on our bed.
Michael, where are you? It's safe to come out.
Winds up to 80 miles an hour uprooted 3 massive trees that came crashing down onto Brian Doobie's home, through the roof, into his bedroom, onto his bed. He wasn't home.
Everything's just destroyed.
His 16-year-old stepdaughter was.
This room right here that's covered up, I was down there.
Just 1 floor below.
When it first started, I just thought it was like branches, little, branches, and I ran upstairs and there's a tree through our house. I started shaking, crying, freaking out.
But thankfully, not hurt.
Just as long as she was okay, that's all that mattered to me.
And take a look at this. Just a few miles from that neighborhood, power lines came down onto a tree, sparking a fire near Capitol Avenue and Douglas Road. Now, we don't know if wind or lightning or both did this, but these kinds of problems kept firefighters very busy this morning. Tonight, more than 12,000 customers are still without power in St. Joseph County alone.